So this video is a little different than what I normally film. I wanted to make a vlog for how I make my crochet patterns, so let's go. Using a 3.5mm hook, a jumbo stitch, and the colors that I showed you. I'm trying to make a koi and I'll show you guys how it goes. Personally, I think there's two different ways that you can make amigurumi. You can either make it very cartoon-esque or you can make it realistically inspired. Here I want to be talking about how I make my patterns by taking ideas and turning them into objects. As a simple one-on-one, just so you guys can understand what I'm talking about, by doing single crochet rounds, you're adding on length, and increasing rounds makes an object wider. These ideas are a little bit more advanced, but if you're on a beginner side, I recommend learning a penguin pattern first because this really helps. By using this knowledge, you can create patterns of your own just like this koi. Another fun technique in amigurumi is switching colors. Here you can see that I have fuzzy black yarn instead of using regular black yarn to add more detail into the fish. Also, I was out of black yarn. I had to tie together every single time that I switched colors in between rounds, and as you can see, that's what it looked like. Here's what it looked like after I popped in a few safety eyes and I started creating whiskers. It's not the most secure, but I put knots at the front and the back and it created a really cute detail. By switching colors, you can create spots for cows, kois, snakes, anything imaginable. Please don't forget to get up and stretch, go play with your cat, do something. By adjusting the amount of single crochet rounds that you add in between increases, you can change the shape of your amigurumi project. The rule of thumb for making cones is by adding equal single crochet rounds in between increases. For instance, let's say I'm at 12 stitches, I would single crochet a round with 12 stitches twice. Then I would increase to 18 stitches and single crochet around twice. I point this out is because I use this technique to create the nose. I increased to the point that I wanted the width of the face. Then I single crocheted around as many rounds as I wanted the length of the face. Then later I increased to the point that I wanted the widest point of the face to be. In this video, I was freehanding, but I was just trying to give examples for how you create these patterns. By turning this into a pattern, you would just write down what you do as you do it. For small extra pieces like fins, I recommend using magic circles with 6 single crochets and sewing them onto the body. Keep in mind, sometimes you don't want to make so many tiny pieces to sewing them together, so you can use different techniques like bobble stitches or half double crochets. When it comes to stuffing, make sure that you stuff earlier on rather than being too late. Here I stuffed a little bit too late and I ended up having a bit of trouble trying to fit the stuffing to the end of the nose. With less stuffing, it meant I had a little bit more room to shape the face, so it ended up looking okay. To make the tail, I single crocheted across both sides of the fish. This ended up making the shape that I wanted, and I kept repeating this process of adding single crochet rows until I got the perfect tail. I added fin details by threading white thread onto the tail. To keep everything in its place, make sure that you sew in all loose ends so that nothing comes loose. Always pull threads from the back to the front so they're all seamless. Here's how the tail ended up, and I think it looked super good. As for making tails and things that are flat shaped, I really recommend practicing on projects like granny squares or even clothing. Honestly, amigurumi design is just learning how to make different shapes comfortably. Once you learn how to make all these shapes, you can replicate them as many times as you want. You can change them into different types of patterns. After you bring your ideas to life a few times, you get used to making these shapes and you find your own style and way of designing. I hope this video was helpful if you have a little bit of trouble making amigurumi designs. It took me a really long time to try to figure it out, but after I figured it out, I was super happy with how my designs came out. I hope these tips were helpful and thank you for watching. Let me know if you want any other topics in the future. Bye!